All right, we're live.
Hey.
Hey,
Yo.
hello.
Hi.
Hey, how's it going?
Yo.
Good. How are you?
Good. What's your favorite Foghorn Leghorn and anime meme?
Uh, I like the one where they go, boy, I tell you, you let that go. You let that cell get the perfect cell. You shouldn't have done it, boy. You should
Yeah,
have ended up when you could have.
That one's pretty good.
yeah,
Yep.
sounds pretty good. I like the one where he's yelling at Mewtwo from Pokemon the movie
I
about
haven't
like
seen that
life
one.
and. Oh, okay. Well, I did put a link in our chat. It's like the second one on there if you want to see that one.
Okay.
Paul, you should have it fresh in your head. You were just looking at a collection of them.
Yeah. Any Evangelion anything is hilarious to me. So him yelling at Shinji while he's having his existential panic attack is fantastic.
Okay. I I think my favorite part of it is just that he's yelling any of these lines.
Yeah.
Uh, Just that aspect. Like, I don't even care what he's saying, just that he's there yelling at the character does it for me.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
Very good. What you guys been doing this last week?
Not much. Slowly getting ready for Coliseum.
Yeah, working.
I'll see. When is that? When are you gone?
I leave Wednesday.
Oh, okay. How long are you gone for? Are you here for the show next week?
No, I'm not here for the show next week.
Okay, good to know. Well, the show next week will be the last one until my trip. So I'll
Oh,
talk to you
okay.
in a few weeks.
Yeah, I leave.
What about
I
you?
leave next Wednesday, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday next week is our charity marathon, and then I come back Tuesday.
Nice.
Nice.
Very cool. You been up to anything, Paul?
Nope.
I'm gonna give a quick shout out to the movie I saw this week,
Okay.
Sasquatch Sunset.
Mm-hmm.
Which is it stars the only actor you really would probably know is Jesse Eisenberg. And he's a Sasquatch as well as three other people. There's no talking in the movie. It's very weird. There's a lot of body fluids, um, which I guess it kind of makes sense since it's a movie about animals doing stuff that animals do.
Sure.
That is a very bizarre movie.
Cool. Sounds neat.
But I actually, and I have a preemptive shout out. A movie I'm planning to watch, but I've seen the trailer and I've been hearing amazing things. It's called Hundreds of Beavers.
Yeah,
Oh
hundreds of
yeah, I
beavers.
heard about
And
that one
Yep.
too.
yeah, I gotta say, you gotta watch this trailer. This thing looks insane. I understand it is insane.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I'm probably, and it's already like on streaming for like renting. So I'm probably gonna rent that
Yeah.
in the next week. That thing looks crazy. So there's my shout outs.
Nice.
And with that, let's get into it real quick. The show, Top Down Perspective, April 25th. I'm Sean Booker.
Paul Fleck.
John Wheeler.
All right, John, I'm excited because you have played some Helldivers too.
I have finally played Helldivers 2 when I get the hype. It's pretty good.
It's great. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I
Yeah.
saw you. I guess you were doing it for a stream or something. I think it was.
Did it for a stream on Tuesday, and then later Tuesday night played with some friends, and then today played with some friends. So it definitely.
Well, I want to hear about your experience. What are you liking about it?
I like the Starship Troopers tone to it. Like it's just
Hmm.
so fucking stupid, tongue in cheek. Gameplay's pretty solid. I don't mind the typing of the commands, even though I keep goofing them every now and then.
That's part of the fun. Like you're in the middle of a crazy firefight and you're trying to like put this intricate command in.
Which is very
Like it,
Magica, so I'm not surprised the Magica devs did that.
for sure. Yeah. No, it is very like gamey of like set up the rocket silo and you have to type in like an 8 D-pad command.
Yeah.
It's arcadey or whatever. And it's been a little. Do you guys still do they still have the mechs? It's been a bit since I played.
Yes, I saw some
They
people
came
using
back.
mechs.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So they took them away at some point?
Well, we killed them all, and then they came back.
No.
No, I
The
think he means
personal mech that
the
you
mechs you
get.
can use.
Yeah, they're level 25. You have to unlock them.
Okay. Then maybe when we've just because I don't think I'm level 25. I haven't played for maybe a month at this point. But when the community unlocked them, we just had access to them. Did they like then lock that behind a level up thing?
I mean, they're
That makes sense.
a stratagem.
How did I already have it then? Okay, I don't know.
Did you have the deluxe edition?
No, definitely not. Um, One thing that did happen, this isn't tied to my like character level, is I randomly played a mission where they like dropped me in pretty close to like the end, I think. In fact, I may have loaded in as the mission had ended. So I don't know if I even played any of the mission.
Okay.
Something glitched and it gave me like 140 of like the medals you need to like unlock stuff on like the battle pass,
Nice.
which was like a crazy amount. Like I'm like, all right, you glitched, man. I'm gonna buy the next 2 things or chunks of stuff and just unlock a whole bunch. But I haven't actually I haven't played in about a month, so.
You'll have a bunch saved up then, because they give them out to everybody when milestones are hit.
Oh, okay, yeah, all right. I'll have to log back in and unlock some stuff.
Yeah.
That's cool. What were some of your favorite lines you heard in the game, John?
Oh my god.
Does anything come to mind?
There's so much. That's the problem. I think I liked
It,
the in the tutorial where the general's like, here is another Helldiver. He is your best friend. He will help you in all situations. Oh no, he has died.
sure,
Um,
yeah.
just a bunch of the lines like where again like the general's like, oh, I'm also 7 feet tall. Where he's just bragging about himself was also really funny.
Okay.
Some of the tool tips are really funny too. Just like the
Yep. Oh,
like pro tip, don't die. You can take
yeah.
a break if you need to, unless you want to be reported as like a traitor or something like that. But only if you want to be
Yeah.
reported as a traitor.
There was a tooltip. Again, it's been a while. So it was something like if you notice the enemy starting to like accept democracy, shoot them. Because you can't take a risk. Something like that.
I saw was it one of the I think the engineer in the ship was like I like Super Earth is like the nicest place in the world to live with, and sometimes I just when I'm here, or just when I'm on a mission, I think about it and like I'd like to live there someday. Just little things like that are just like, oh, that's so good. And then like listening to
Yeah.
the TV in the ship is also really fucking funny.
Hmm.
The freedom sweat one was great. Now it's 72% more sweat.
Oh, I don't think I've seen that one. That must be a new or more recent thing.
I mean, I think they added a bunch when they added in like the robots, so I don't know.
Oh, I'm sure. What were you fighting these days? Is it the robots or the
I mean, they're
bugs right
both
now?
fronts are there. So since I'm still early level, I've mostly done the bugs, but I did a
Okay.
couple robot missions the other day, and those were, ooh,
They're fucked up. Like compared to the
robots are pretty
bugs.
tough.
Completely
Yeah,
different
Yeah,
feel,
like
yeah.
the bugs you can kind of shoot with whatever, and the robots will just like double middle finger you. Like you better have
yeah.
brought the right
I have definitely had
loadout.
many shots reflect back onto me and kill me. Many.
Yeah, or they'll just like shoot a rocket. You're just dead in like one thing.
The chainsaw guys running at you is just like, oh no.
Yeah, like the Terminator looking dudes. And the friendly fire is just hilarious. When you like accidentally like bring down a huge bomb on your own team. That's always funny. Well,
Ah,
welcome. I'm glad you're enjoying the game. Do you think you're gonna keep playing with it?
I'll keep playing it for a while, especially when they keep adding more like missions and stuff. Like there's just so many missions I haven't even done yet. I barely got anything unlocked on that the war bonds or whatever they're called. I think I've got
The
500 super
battle
credits, so
pass.
I'm halfway to getting the next one of those passes.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
okay.
brutal. They added another one, so there's 5 of them now.
Yeah, and they all
Since the
cost
last time I
1,000
saw,
super credits each.
anyway.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's the free war bond that you get, but if you want the paid one, you can either drop the $10 or grind it out. That's
Oh,
pretty
you haven't
standard.
played for a while. No, there's 2 others on top of that as well that they've added, that they've updated
yeah,
with.
Okay.
and each one is 1,000 super credits.
Like seasons, I would
Yeah.
call them, sort of
Yeah,
idea.
exactly.
But
Yeah.
they're shorter though. There's like 3 pages instead of like 5 or whatever the hell it is.
I think it's 8 on
8?
the 8 or 10 on the first one.
That sounds right. Yeah. So they're like a fraction of the size at least.
Well, so isn't that bad? Because then there's just less to unlock
No, they're
within the
generally
pass.
new, more powerful. Well, arguably, because I don't like some of the guns that you unlock in those, and they cost more than the standard one. So some of them are like 20 to 50, where like on the other one it might be like 10 or whatever credits or medals.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just the grind, right? It's the carrot. You have to introduce a new carrot on the
Yeah,
stick every time.
the live service game, like this is
Yep.
to be expected. What are they teasing anything right now? What's coming?
I don't know. I think everybody's kind of hoping we see the other race from the other game finally appear, and people are speculating that they might be the ones that sent the automatons, or at least people are thinking maybe that like that the race that sent the automatons will show at some point.
Yeah,
we'll see. We'll have to see.
All right. And that's all they played, John?
Yep. Unless you can't
Paul,
cross,
anything?
so.
Yeah, always per cross. Paul, do you want to mention anything?
First of all, I want to bring up, I saw you streaming the other day, Heroin Anthem 02. I didn't know there was a second one. So that was interesting to me.
It's been out for 2 years.
Sure. All right. I remember that
How was the first one? Because the second one very much starts. So no one wears clothing in that game. I didn't know that.
So, yeah, it's a great stream game then.
Wait, sorry. What is the name of this game?
It's Heroin Anthem 0. The first one came out, God, I want to say almost 10 years ago or something. It's a long fucking time ago it came out, and I never got to it because I heard it was kind of So I was like, okay, well, it doesn't appeal to me at all. I didn't know they made a second one, and then I dropped in for a little bit. I was like, holy shit, what is going on here? I couldn't stay very long, unfortunately, but is that game any good?
The gameplay seemed okay. Like it was like a loose hack and slash. And the whole thing I did was a weird flashback, and like the translation was kind of but it seemed very invested in its story and world building and stuff like that. I just never really got to the actual like story or connected to the first game.
I never played it. So do you need that story? Like if I wanted to play this,
there is previously option on it, and I'm gonna be honest, I spaced the fuck out while watching it. So
okay.
I don't think you really need to. I think the second game stands pretty well on its own. But apparently it's like 40 hours or something like that is what someone told me in chat. I think they said main and extra and how long to beat was 40 plus.
Holy shit.
Yeah, kind of meaty.
Yeah. Wow. All right. Fair enough. I just thought that was interesting, so I wanted to bring it up and ask how that was.
Yeah, no, like I said, it's all right. I can see why people might get into it in that, but like I was just like I never. It's very slow starting.
Oh.
And also, like, the trailers did not show how much TNA they were actually going to show in, like, the beginning chapter, because the beginning chapter is, like, almost exclusively flashback. So I'm like, oh, okay, all right. Feeling a little weird about streaming this right now.
I mean, so you could tell that there would be some lewdness to it for sure, and, like, that's not I know that's not a problem for you and I, really, but, like, how bad does that get? Is it actually pretty, like oh, this is a little too much for Twitch?
The main character, her outfit normally is not bad. Like it's like shorts, like a jacket top, and then she's got like a tube top on, and then like some bandages around her.
Yeah.
But in chapter 1, she's wearing like slave outfits, so she's basically got like a fucking thong on that very barely covers up the vagina, and and a top that like slowly gets more and more ripped the more she goes through things, and it's just like, oh, okay.
Oh yeah, a little bit too much for like streaming.
A little bit too much for Twitch. And like I looked over the page first. I was like, okay, I wonder if there's anything, because like I can't tell when I got this who got it for me, if I got it for myself. Like, is this gonna be one of those games that's like we're actually a game but also has like a bunch of like porn stuff in it? And like I looked at the trailer, the first one, and there was like one little flash of like one of the sprites. I'm like, okay, that's not bad. Maybe it won't be that bad. And then I started up, I'm like, damn it.
Yeah, sprinkling. Yeah, it's
not your father's hack and slash.
It's too bad too, because like I'm guessing you played it through Steam, right?
Yeah.
It's a little too bad because Steam is pretty loose about a lot of that stuff. So like it could literally just be a porn game and you wouldn't know from the thing. Whereas like if it's on Nintendo, it's probably lewd, but it's probably not straight up porn on a Nintendo system. And so it's a little scary, I would think.
Yeah, the funny thing is, like, there's some like games that are like that on Steam that people are like, oh, these are actually like really good games, but they're like super kink games, or like they're definitely like pure porn games. But like there's companies out there that are like, we're gonna make the most porn game possible, but also make it like a really good Metroidvania.
Dude, I could actually recommend a couple of them that I played that I'm like, oh, I can't actually like ever talk about this because it is straight up hentai, even though like the gimmick behind it is really cool.
Is that fucking like Double Switch? I think is what it was
Yeah,
called. Someone
that's
recommended
the
it to me. Yeah. I know. Everyone's
Double
like, "This is a
Switch.
really good game," but it is absolutely porn. Don't stream it.
It's so good, yeah. It's so I guess like a way to compare it is what was
Double
Outland?
Switch is on the Switch.
No, it's
No,
called
this is an FMV game.
Different game with a similar name.
it's called something it's Switch Witch or something like that. I can't remember.
That sounds right.
It's
actually.
something
Hang
like
on,
that.
I'll look up.
Do you remember the game? I think it's Outlander, where it was high contrast, black and white sort of game, but you would change from blue to red, like an Ikaruga type thing. But it was
That's I think it's called Outland, the Metroidvania
the
from
Metroidvania.
Ubisoft.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Flip Witch Forbidden Sex Hex. That's
the one. So
Okay, there's no way you were surprised then.
There's
I don't remember Forbidden Sex Hex being part of the name. I just remember Flip Witch.
there's a lot of similarities in the gimmick, only instead of changing from red to blue, you change from male to female for different like level situations or whatever. And the way they build some of the stuff out is actually kind of interesting, but it all comes down to like hardcore fucking at some point, so it's hard, you can't recommend it to anybody.
I don't think this game's even on Steam anymore. Like
It is on Steam. I'm looking at it right now.
I searched for it, it's not showing up, and then the link from
Flip Witch,
Google went to
FLIPWTCH.
yeah, like the link from Google just goes to a broken page, and then I search for it in Steam, and it's nothing.
That's weird because like I said, I'm looking at the page right now. It has almost 3,000 reviews, very positive, 94%.
It is right there.
Yeah, when I click the oh wait, sorry, it says oops, sorry, you must be logged in to see the content. Okay.
That
Yeah, it's marked as adult only.
So this one is marked as adult only, but the problem with Steam is that some things, especially if they're like a little lower in notoriety, won't necessarily have that and will have like parts that are too hardcore.
Yeah, the trailer has a lot of sex featured in it, a lot of sex and nudity, so it's like extremely, you can't stream it.
Yeah.
Apparently the game is actually considered really good.
We're talking about Flip Witch? Yeah, I can attest it's good, actually. But again, how do you tell people that without just looking like the worst person?
9 friends on my Steam list already own this game, and I'm not surprised by a single one of them.
Yeah, no, of course.
That's true, because if you kind of started off the recommendation
by the way.
Like, I know. Yeah,
listen,
you are.
I'm not a pervert, but you're just saying you are a pervert, so I don't think there's like a win-win here.
It's such a bummer too, because we were talking a little bit before. Stellar Blade comes out in a few hours.
Yeah.
And I played the demo of that like a couple weeks back, and I love how that game plays, but I know how everybody's going to hear when I say that I like that game, what they're going to talk about, what they think. So like I get it. It's the same with Dragon's Crown. I liked that game back when it came out, and people were like, yeah, I know why. It's like, yeah, because it's a really good beat 'em up. What do you mean? Yeah. Anyway.
That's true. I mean, like, but part of the fault I feel like also does kind of lie on the developers and marketers who are trying to lean into that because that's
100%.
getting clicks.
No, 100% for sure.
But also,
I don't
definitely there is a subset of just like the audience kind of running loose with that, but their hands are not totally clean, the devs either. So
no, totally. That's why it's easier to just not care, honestly, and just like what you like. It's just hard to recommend some things because, you know, kids listen to this show too. So just, yeah.
Well, hey, if John and Paul's recommendation of Flip Witch got you to buy the game, right in.
I've just heard.
I want to hear about that. I'm just saying, there's a non-zero
it is definitely
chance that you may have
my
just sold a copy.
recommendation. To be clear.
All right. Is that in for your guys' games played?
Oh, checking into Rebirth. I finished. At least I think I'm at the end of chapter 12. There was like 4 boss fights in a row in the arena at the Gold Saucer, and we had the date night and stuff. But like, I had to. It was 3 a.m. by the time I finished the last fight in that area, and I was like, I can't do any more bosses right now. I need to get to bed. I gotta stop.
Oh, okay. I didn't even go back to the arena. I'm good.
Yeah, you
Oh,
definitely did.
thanks.
The story wise, the Muscle Coliseum or whatever. There's
Oh,
like 4
okay.
boss
Yes.
fights in a row.
Or, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I finished that gauntlet, and I was like, I think I might be done this chapter, but I just gotta save and go to bed. It's too much.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like, did you get to the part where they like tell you to go back to every region because there's more stuff now?
Yeah, that was part of this. Well,
That was part of it. Okay.
so I have that, and they're like, there's like a pirate treasure thing going on, and you can do every game in hard. I'm like, nope, let's just do the story, because that's kind of all I care about. So that's what I'm doing.
Yep. My check-in with Rebirth. I'm done. I
Yeah.
don't even think about it anymore. I've washed my hands of the game. I am done. I might as well uninstall it. But I don't need to uninstall it because I have the slim PS5, which has like a shit ton more memory than the launch PS5. So I got gigs to spare.
I'm hoping a dream of mine would be I'm able to finish it before you go away, and then maybe we could do a small spoiler cast to talk about the story and stuff more in depth. But
okay,
I can't promise anything
doable.
because it's on me right now.
True. Chapter 13 is definitely longer than 14. 14 is just
14's pretty
series
short.
of boss fights.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of long cutscenes, so it's not like maybe the gameplay is kind of short. But it is lengthy. 13 is longer because it's just kind of like a big dungeon with a few boss fights in there. You're done open world stuff though, for sure.
Yes. Well, besides going back if I chose to do that, which I'm not. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. The only thing I didn't do other than like the hard versions of minigames, all that nonsense, was once you get all the proto relics, they unlock like an island.
Oh, I'm gonna do
you
that.
like to fight?
I want to fight Gilgamesh.
Well, you have to fight 3 double bosses in a row. Not in a row, but before Gilgamesh. You have to fight all the summons, but like paired up as partners.
Oh, that's sick.
And I was like, no, thanks, I'm good.
The Odin fight has been my favorite thing in the game so far. What a great fight! Holy shit!
It's someone else. I can't remember who it is, and I wasn't sure if I was reading it right, but it might be them on like the main, like their full power.
Yeah, that makes sense because you probably
I didn't
high
even
enough
fight.
level to
I
do
fought
it.
them all on the weakest setting, and I was like,
yeah, just
that was good enough for me. Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah. So, anyways, yes, I'm done that game. I don't think. Look, I'm not the smartest person. I know that. I don't think the ending makes any sense.
I've heard a lot of people really hate the ending, so I'm curious.
I just don't think it's either I don't understand it, like it went over my head, because they're dealing with like so many metaphors. I'm pretty sure I understood kind of what was going on, and it was just like, wait, so like, what? Where are we? Are you real? What is? Okay, but if you're not real, then how does? I don't. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I don't think I know what happened there, and I don't think it really does matter.
Yeah, I mean,
that's a glowing review of a story.
I mean, if you think about it, nothing really matters.
Well, I do think the weakest part of this game is in terms of like the overarching story, like nothing really happens. And everything, like, for example, like, okay, well, we'll talk about this if we do a spoiler cast. So I don't need to get too deep into it.
No, like I know what you're saying.
You're coming to this game for the gameplay and stuff.
Yeah. And it feels like every part of this game has so much padding on it, where every point of it that I do like is like beating me over the head to the point where I'm just like, I get it. Like, this story is great. You didn't need to make this part an hour. The gameplay is great. You didn't need to make this part just like take forever. So I think I understand what you're trying to say about that. Because not much happens, to be honest.
No, not much does happen for sure. Absolutely not.
Yeah, that's kind of been it though.
Okay, I can finally talk about some games I've been playing for the last couple of weeks. Let's start with Sandland.
Yeah.
Pretty sure this is out. I think it came out today, maybe.
Might be tomorrow.
I think it's tomorrow.
The 26th.
Yeah.
Is it tomorrow?
Because I went to go see how much it was, and it said it wasn't available yet for me.
I can buy it. Oh, no, release date April 25th. So yeah, it's out.
It is out.
Yeah,
Okay,
I thought I saw
cool.
it was today. Sandland is I'm pretty hot and cold on it. It really feels like kind of a 360 era like character action game in that it's kind of empty-ish. Like it is an open world game, but there's not like a ton to do in between like the towns that you're visiting. There will be creatures on the map that you can just like you can fight them if you want, or if you want to just kill them in one hit, use your tank, and you get very little experience, so it's kind of not worth it. Um, the combat is just mind-numbingly dull. You're just mashing. There's no like lock on. So you hit X a bunch, and then when they start to glow red, you hit right trigger to dodge out of the way. Rinse and repeat forever. It's stupid easy. Like
Isn't
at one
building
point I
your
had to
tank
double
out
check.
change any gameplay stuff though?
So I'll get back to that in just a quick sec. Let me just
Okay.
finish my thought.
Okay.
At one point I had to like double check that I did not put it on story difficulty. No, I'm just on normal. The one kind of in-depth thing is the tank. There's a lot of vehicles in this game that you can get the blueprints for, uh, make them, then like upgrade specific components, swap out the different pieces, the primary, the secondary weapon, upgrade slots, things like that. So that's probably the more in-depth part, and it's a little interesting. So I've only read very little bit of Sandland a long time ago.
Mm.
When I started playing this, I was like, oh, maybe I should read this, considering it's only one volume. Like,
Yeah.
it is a very short thing.
It's like 13
And
chapters.
so
or
I did
something.
that at 14 to be specific. Yeah.
Okay.
So like I did that. It was just on the Shonen Jump app. That app's fantastic. I recommend that enough. That story does seem rushed. Like a lot of things happen very like conveniently, and then this game is trying to kind of spread those out so it's not just like a 4-hour game.
Yeah.
But a lot of the things they're adding in there are kind of so removed from the main story that you can easily kind of see how they had, okay, we cannot touch the main story. We cannot alter it in any way. So we will just have like a big thing off to the side that story-wise, if you removed it, nothing would affect the main plot because we're not allowed to touch that. For example, like there's a whole new main character that pops up pretty early on that is not in the manga, and you're doing stuff with her. Her name's Anne, and then pretty quickly she just becomes like your mechanic for these tanks, and she's just out of the main story now. Although they are hinting something special about her like necklace, so maybe later on in the game there'll be like a big chunk of the mission where you're doing something else with her, but I haven't gotten there yet. But yeah, the whole, and then so like the weird thing about the tanks though is in the manga, they make a note to say that there's only 4 tanks like left in Sandland, and then when the main characters get one of them, it's like a big deal, and then they fight like the other 3 tanks,
right,
as later on in the story. They obviously can't do that here because they want tank battles to happen, so there's just tanks everywhere. So it's just kind of funny to be like, I thought there was only 4 of these. Oh well, I guess not. I guess there's 100 of them, like a million, because around every rock there's a tank for me to fight. So they definitely had to tweak stuff a little bit to make it into a video game.
I was gonna ask. I'm actually glad that you read the manga, because I was gonna ask, is this like part of the canon, or is this based on that as its own separate thing? Like, does it continue the story at all, or like?
It is telling the story literally word for word. Like
Oh.
almost every line from that manga you will hear happen in this.
Interesting.
But then they just have like a bunch of side quests that are kind of like fleshing it out because like I said, that story feels rushed in a lot of places, whereas this one they're like, nah, in between when they like went from this fight to this fight in the game, you're going to meet a town and it's going to be full of people and the mayor's having trouble and you're going to get water for them and blah, blah, blah. It's a lot of things that don't affect the main story because it seems like they were not allowed to touch the main story in any way to change it. And it's just like, here's a bunch of side stuff.
That's too bad that they couldn't use this as like a definitive way to flesh out parts of the story more if it's so bare bones and rushed. Like, it seems like a missed opportunity.
Yeah, I think it would have been cool to kind of get some more like like background on characters from the manga or stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it seems I'm just assuming maybe they just weren't allowed to touch like that
Yeah.
kind of stuff, and they were like, no, if you're doing something new, it has to be your own thing.
Sure.
So for whatever reason, I don't know. And like I said, I'm only maybe like 5 to 6 hours into the game. I don't know how long it is. I don't know how much. I guess I'm basing it, and it's hard to base it off the manga because they do put a bunch of other side or tangentially related stuff in there. But if you've read the manga, like I just met the swimmers. I just fought the swimmers, so I think that's like halfway-ish through the manga.
Initial people logging in it's saying roughly 30-ish hours currently.
Wow. Okay.
So I don't know if that's just doing everything in the game. I'm sure it is.
Or are you looking at how long to beat?
Yeah. This is saying
okay.
rushed.
Yeah, when
I don't think that's rushed.
saying that main and extra 34 hours. Jeez. Okay. Well, I'm not surprised. There's tons of side stuff in there. I have out of the side quests I have done, I haven't found many of them to be all that interesting to the point where, because I do like the main story of Sandland, I kind of just been focusing on that.
Sure.
I will say though, the art is fantastic. Like, of course it is.
course.
You know, it looks like the recent Dragon Quest games. I like all the voice acting. I think all the voices they picked out are great.
Cool.
And they kind of just stylized it even more from the Dragon Quest games to make it even more like comic book like. Everyone's got like cross shading on them and stuff. Like, it is a really stylish and good looking game for sure. I just think it feels a little shallow, and like I wish there was more to do in the open world. I wish the combat was more exciting. So yeah, I'm pretty hot and cold on it myself.
Yeah, fair.
But that is Sandland. I'm probably gonna play some more of it. I do like that story, but I just don't know how much of the side stuff I'm gonna do.
Have you watched the anime at all? It's the same shit, so I don't know why you would experience that same story 3 times, but
yeah. No, I did not watch the anime. I probably won't. I'm good after reading the manga.
yeah.
It was fun reading the manga at like the exact same time. That was just so then I could like really kind of compare stuff. That was fun for sure. Tales of Kenzera ZAU. I've been playing this. It's another Metroidvania. I think after this, I'm gonna need a break from Metroidvanias. This and Prince of Persia so close to each other. I'm really liking Tales of Kenzera ZAU. I think the map design is a little basic. There's not a ton of secrets. If you see like a kind of little peninsula off to the side in the map, there's definitely a collectible there. Like, no surprises there. So that's really my only knock against it. I think the combat's good. It's based around in the game you have two masks, which are basically like when you're wearing the moon mask, you have ranged attacks like a laser gun or something. And you just switch them by hitting left bumper. And when you have the sun mask on, you're melee focused, so you can go back and forth between them. There are enemies that need to be attacked by certain masks before you can like take their shield down and then attack them with whatever. And then each of them have their own special abilities. Like the gun, you get a freeze gun. The melee one, you get like a spear attack that can like go through enemies and hit multiple at a time. And then they both have their own ultimate attacks. I think it also looks really nice, and just the like Metroidvania comparison tied with like how much purple they're using in the environment really makes me think of Ori. I do think Ori is a better game and like a superior Metroidvania, but Ori is also like an all timer. But visually, it's just giving me kind of Ori vibes with all the purple for sure. And then the story's pretty great. So this is the main character's like father passed away, and you're like a shaman of this world, or this section of the world or whatever, and you team up with what I think is kind of like a Grim Reaper-esque figure. And if you deliver like 3 like of the spirits of the world, and those are going to kind of be the acts of the bosses of the game, to the Grim Reaper thing, you can like bring your father back. And then if you watch the like reveal during the Game Awards, this is the voice actor from Assassin's Creed Origins. is kind of the creative lead on this, and this is all about him actually losing his father, and then wanted to making a game about this. So it's kind of a little autobiographical in that sense. So I think the
Yeah.
story is pretty compelling,
That's cool.
and I think you do get that through the dialogue and the voice acting and the narrative for sure. So I'm liking that quite a bit. So yeah, pretty good. I just wish the kind of map design was a little more exciting, but maybe that's just because I'm coming off of Lost Crown, which did like a really great job at that. So it's kind of hard not to separate the two in my mind.
Yeah, the way I've heard people talk about that Prince of Persia game is that it's kind of a game changer for a lot of Metroidvanias, and that like if they don't do some
Really
of these
good.
things, it's gonna feel like just inherently a little worse, which is too bad. But yeah, who
Yeah,
knows?
I mean, this was in development at the same time, so it's going to be hard to like take any lessons.
Of
But
course.
I have a feeling like the next couple of years of Metroidvanias, they definitely have to like kind of punch up a little bit more now.
Yeah,
Maybe they'll take some lessons from that.
that's good. Great.
Um, this one's also on PS Plus Extra, so if you have that catalog, you get this game for free basically. So maybe that's a way of checking it out. Um, Otherwise, yeah, I think it's on like everything.
Yeah.
And last game I want to talk about, I just started playing today. I've only maybe put like an hour and a half in. Is Another Crab's Treasure finally came out?
Yeah, this
So
game's
this
great.
is the. Have you been playing any of it?
Not today, no, but I played like 2 hours of that demo or whatever, that both parts of it or whatever, a few months back.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't play the demo, so I don't know which part of the game that is. I would assume the beginning,
I
so
assume
that it's
so
just
too.
easier.
Yeah.
You said both parts though. Was there like another area you got to play?
There's like a part that I did a bunch of platforming stuff, like climbing on a bunch of nets and jumping and that sort of thing. And then another part felt more Souls-like is not the term, but like definitely more combat focused, a lot more enemies around, harder enemies, an emphasis on the fishing mechanic and whatever, and more like different shells to use or whatever. It was cool.
Okay, yeah, I haven't come across anything fishing related yet. So this is a Souls-like. You are a crab that they get their shell, or like
A hermit crab.
the shell they're using as their home. A hermit crab, yes, hermit crab. They get their shell repossessed by one of the. I should say this game is very goofy.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice having a Souls-like, which is like just kind of feels like serious business when you're playing it.
Yeah.
But the voice acting, like the dialogue and what's happening is very funny and goofy. They got jokes in here, and honestly, it's refreshing to have a Souls-like with some jokes.
Yeah, sure.
So yeah, you're a hermit crab. You get your shell repossessed by those like shark grabby
Loan
toys
shark?
that are like on the.
Oh.
What is that?
Never mind. Sorry, I said something else.
Okay, you know those like shark grabby toys where they're on like the end of a stick and you like
Yeah.
squeeze the trigger and the mouth closes?
Uh-huh.
One of those just comes out of the water and tells you that your home turf is now part of the Duchess's area. And because you haven't been paying taxes, they're going to repossess your shell. And so he does that.
Right.
So you chase the shark toy for a while until you get to this is just what I played. This is just the very opening of the game. Till you get to the Duchess's castle, and then to get in, they're like, "Yo, dude, you are naked right now. We are not letting you in the castle. You
Yeah.
need to go get a shell." So you go to a this ocean has been totally just littered. There's so much garbage in it. And I guess garbage is actually what they use as currency now that I'm thinking about it. So there's a full-on vending machine that you come across. Somebody put a vending machine, they just dumped that in the ocean, which is wild. And so you press the button and a bunch of, I guess, empty soda cans come out. You wear one of those as a shell, which starts the very first boss fight. Which is this like fucked up lobster dude with like a spear. And that's where I've stopped because I cannot beat that dude yet.
Okay. Sure.
So I'm kind of grinding that first area. And there's like kind of mini bosses in that area, which I've taken out a couple of them, but now there seems like I found a serious one, which I only saw him. And when the life meter popped up, I was like, I'm out. Nope. No, I'll come back later. I think he was a lobster that uses a bike lock as a weapon.
That's great.
And I was like, that dude is gonna just fuck my shit up.
Yeah.
So Yeah, it is a goofy, funny game. It's on Game Pass. I highly recommend checking it out. I think it's a really forgiving Souls-like. I say that like there's no stamina, which is pretty great.
All right, I'm
Um,
sold.
yeah, right? Like that's kind of a game changer. It has a jump and a glide mechanic, so there is kind of more platforming than your typical Souls-like
There's a
in
lot of
that I would
platforming.
say so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think and there's tons of accessibility reasons stuff in there. I think I mentioned this in the news section a while ago. If you really want, you can just give your crab a gun,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
that will
True.
make the combat a lot easier. And on top of that, there's a bunch of other stuff. You can open up like how much percentage of the damage you want to receive, stuff like that. So, and they even say like, hey, if the difficulty of this game is harming your enjoyment, this is almost like verbatim how they're wording it. Go ahead and adjust the accessibility features on this game.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. So if you've been Souls like curious, I think this is a really good one to try out because there's a lot of things to like here, and it's very approachable. Um, yeah. So again, that's another Crab's Treasure. It's on most things. I don't know if it's on Switch, but it's on Game Pass, so that's probably a pretty. That's how I'm playing it.
It has one of the most interesting mechanics I've seen in these games too, where you when you change your shell to different things, they all give you different stat boosts, and they all have an active
Yep.
and passive ability as well. And you can like pop so you like picking up different shells is like how you change the meta or whatever that you're playing at that
Or it's like
time.
your build, kind of.
You're
Yeah.
but like every boss arena that I saw in the thing was just like there's just litter everywhere, like you said. So there's just like you're changing consistently what you're doing, or like in a boss fight. It's really interesting actually how they do
Yeah.
that
I
stuff.
I can't talk too much about that because I only really have access to the one shell so far.
Yeah,
But yeah, they are kind of leaning into that because even that fight, you get 4 cans to deal with because you can go into your shell
yeah,
as like a shield, but the shell has only so much integrity. So the shell will break, and then you want to kind of like quickly run away to pick up a new shell. So I could definitely see them doing that with multiple shells going forward for sure. Yeah, I'm looking
it's
forward to
super
that.
cool. That game is incredibly cool. Like I'm so excited
And
that it's out. I'm really mad that they chose now, but like whatever, it is what it is.
And the chat is saying it is on Switch. So I don't know if you want to play a Souls like game on the Switch, but
I think Dark Souls is on there.
I was gonna say, as somebody who bought Dark Souls Remastered on there, I agree. You probably don't want to use the Switch.
um, but that is, I mean, it can't be that graphically intense. It is a pretty plain looking game, so maybe it
Yeah,
does run fine on the Switch. But I'm not gonna knock it for porting to the Switch. Like, good for them.
yeah,
And that is all I played. So why don't we do some news? Starting with Nintendo has asked Garry's Mod to remove 20 years worth of Nintendo stuff off of the Steam Workshop.
yeah. I remember reading this.
This is a bummer.
Yep.
Thanks, Nintendo. You gotta wonder why now?
No
Like
idea.
what?
Yeah, I don't know.
So, Mr. Silvermoon, someone said that it was a rando troll. Apparently, there was a post today by the lead dev or by Garry that said like, no, we confirmed with Nintendo, this is legit.
Yeah. I'll just read the little kind of blog post. It's pretty short right here. Some of you may have noticed that certain Nintendo related workshop items have recently been taken down. This is not a mistake. The takedowns came from Nintendo. Honestly, this is fair enough. This is Nintendo's content, and what they allow and don't allow is up to them. They don't want you playing with that stuff in Garry's mod. That's their decision. We have to respect that and take down as much as we can. This is an ongoing process as we have 20 years of uploads to go through. If you want to help us by deleting your Nintendo related uploads and never uploading them again, that would help us a lot. So, uh, yeah, I guess I'm glad they're being like sports about this, but yeah, it is a bummer, and I just can't help but wonder like what switch was flipped in someone's head over at Nintendo where they're like, "That's it, that's enough. Straw has broken the back." Like,
Yeah.
uh, who knows?
Weird.
But yeah, thanks Nintendo,
Yeah.
holding the fun hostage.
Just can't have any fun.
Something is fun. In video game movie news, El Paso Elsewhere is getting a movie, which I would not have guessed.
That's interesting because I
and
feel like nobody has talked about that game, and that game's incredible. So,
yeah, so if people don't remember, this came out last year. El Paso Elsewhere is like a spiritual successor to the Max Payne, lots of narrative, the bullet time, stuff like that. Very small indie game. So it's pretty cool that they're picking this up. This makes me think of the recent movie news with Dredge, where it kind of gives me a bit of hope because they're not just trying to ride some momentum that's going on in the internet. Like you just said, Paul, like nobody's talking about this game. A few people talked about it when it came out.
Yeah.
For sure, absolutely. So maybe they actually have like some good ideas and stuff here. I'm trying to see who they got tied to this, what the name was that I was seeing earlier.
I don't know if they have somebody tied to it yet, but
they do.
Lakeith Stanfield is in talks to do it. Yeah.
Who is in like the Knives Out franchise and stuff like that. He's in talks to star and produce the film.
Yep. That's one of the best soundtracks I've heard in video games, maybe ever. Also, the soundtrack in that game is
this would be cool. Like, I hope this happens. This is a cool game to pick. So,
yeah.
I wonder if like Sonic just kind of opened the floodgates to like modern day movies.
Probably.
Maybe that and like that and maybe The Last of Us show wise.
Last of Us, Mario movie, just kind of everything.
Yeah, we're in like a new wave. Like we're past the Ube Bowl stuff that kind of soured the landscape for years, and now we're in like a new wave where people actually like give a shit.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about Embracer. This is a weird story that happened earlier this week. As we know, Embracer is not going through the best of times with their deals and all the layoffs. Earlier this week, they have decided to split their company into 3 different groups that will all be publicly traded. They will still be getting governed by a single like corporate entity that is a lot of the people who currently do govern Embracer. But as far as like the stock market is concerned, there will be 3 different entities that have different chunks and studios within their portfolios. So starting off with, and this is the name of the new company, Middle Earth Enterprises and Friends.
I love it. It's so dumb.
It's these names are like, what's like the most obvious thing? Can we just name these like company 1, 2, and 3? No, we can't do that, but we can do this. Here's the next best thing.
Yeah.
So this is here, described as a creative powerhouse and AAA game development and publishing. This will retain the ownership of Dead Island, Killing Floor, Kingdom Come Deliverance, the Tomb Raider franchise, and the Lord of the Rings IPs.
This is their big one.
I think that also includes, this is the big one. I think it also, because they bought like the movie rights or the show rights, I think. Like they bought a lot of Lord of the Rings stuff. So like Crystal Dynamics is in here. This is kind of like their big hitting stuff.
Yeah.
The next company is just the Asmodee Group, which was kind of already a group within there. I guess this is all their tabletop game purchases, which I didn't realize that they had bought a ton of tabletop stuff, but they own like Ticket to Ride and Catan.
Yes.
Damn.
So yeah, like that makes me think like when they were buying all these video games, were they also scooping up like tabletop things and I just wasn't hearing about it because I don't follow that industry?
Yeah, probably.
Exploding Kittens is also part of their 7 Wonders, so that's Asmodee Group. And then the last one is called Coffee Stain and Friends, which is described as a diverse gaming entity that will focus on indie, mid-market, and free-to-play games. This will include titles such as Deep Rock Galactic, Goat Simulator, Satisfactory, Wreckfest, Teardown, and Valheim.
Yeah.
So they're kind of splitting it up. AAA, kind of smaller scale indie, and then tabletop is their 3.
Yeah.
I'm not a business guy. I don't know why you do this, why you don't do this, but okay.
Probably
Just the
they
ongoing
had. I
saga
mean,
with
they
Embrace.
had bankruptcy issues. They're like they were definitely overspending and shit. So they definitely expanded too fast. And I think if anything, this probably gives them some tax breaks.
Probably, yeah. Oh, I'm sure it does. I don't know for sure because that's not my
It's surely easier
stuff.
to
But
see
I don't think
like where their problem areas are, so they can lay off more people more specifically if they need to.
that's yeah. I did hear someone float the idea of like maybe this kind of isolates kind of something that's not performing well, so that they're like high performers can continue growing separately as opposed to being like dragged down. Yada
Well,
yada stuff like
and
that.
then like on the other side of that sword though is maybe it's also they can give different quotas essentially for each one to hit. Like for them to say like all of our video games that we put out or whatever has to hit $100 million. It's like Satisfactory's over here just like crying. It's like, what do you mean? I'm an indie thing or what? Like I'm sure.
Can't even count that high.
Yeah, so I'm sure like also it'll set some better boundaries for each different division on like maybe what they should be hitting, like milestones and stuff like that too. That make a little more sense. It seems like honestly just kind of a better thing to do if you have this many different things is to split them up into different like categories like this. I just think it's weird that they took so long to do it, and I love that it's all called something and friends. That's just funny to me.
Yeah. Great points. Yeah, that's a good point for sure. All right, next news story. BlizzCon is skipping 2024. The quote here: while we're approaching this year differently, and as we have explored different event formats in the past, rest assured that we are just as excited as ever to bring BlizzCon back in future years. I have to assume a lot of this is just they don't have much in the development pipeline, combined with Microsoft now kind of steering the ship.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
perhaps
yeah.
Microsoft is just like, no, we're not wasting a bunch of money so that you can show World of Warcraft. Like, what are you fucking talking about?
Yeah, and it's like Overwatch is not doing great for them. Like no one's excited about Diablo right now, and we just canceled that 6 year in development thing.
Yeah,
So I don't really know what they would show at the moment.
right.
Yeah. World of Warcraft expansion, the next season of Overwatch, I guess.
Yep.
But hopefully it comes back because people seem to into that show. All right, last news story here. This is another like thanks Nintendo story. This comes from Steven Totillo's Game File newsletter. He interviewed one of the head people. I don't think they're with Epic anymore, but at some point Donald Mustard, and said that Samus Aran never got into Fortnite because Nintendo declined Epic Games' offer. Nintendo wanted their skins to only be visible on the Switch, which
Yeah.
Epic Games was not okay with.
This isn't new. Link on Soul Calibur was only available in that version, their version. Like, this is a thing they do. This makes
Well, no,
sense.
it's more so because the crossplay, the skin would have to like show up differently. That'd be as if like you were playing like the Xbox versus the PS2 version of Soul Calibur, and suddenly like it turned into Heihachi instead of Link whenever you fought them.
Right, yeah. But, like, from the way I read this is that they didn't care, really, if they kept everything on the Switch. Like, it would have been fine. They don't want to get their characters on any other platform or whatever. So if the Switch took the PlayStation route where they're like only Switch people can play with other Switch people in Fortnite, this wouldn't have been an issue, I don't think, for that version specifically.
I guess not, but there's no way they would want that, having this like isolated version.
Oh, of course not.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Well, I don't think Nintendo would want that either, because then they just know they have the inferior version.
I don't think Nintendo cares about inferior versions. They seem pretty okay with it.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Anyways, weird to see, and I think that's a pretty crazy request that Nintendo would have made. So, no Samus Aran skin, thanks Nintendo. All right, that's going to do it for news. Let's do some questions. If you would like to send in questions, topdownperspective@gmail.com, at TDP Podcast on Twitter, the Discord channel, or John's P.O. Box. This first one comes from Suku. Every gamer wishes to achieve the golden ending where the protagonist accomplishes all their goals and saves the day. But what if it didn't? Some games build upon bad endings where everything is markedly worse, or even a joke ending with Nier. My favorite instance is Dragon Quest Builders. which is what happens if the hero makes the wrong choice. An entire game built around the hero picking the dumb option. Barring major spoilers, what are your favorite games which do this?
Shadow Colossus.
Yeah, a pretty dark ending.
Okay. That one doesn't have multiple endings, right? There's the whole thing is just a bummer
That's
ending.
just the ending.
That
Yeah.
ending, yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I was just making sure I was reading the right thing. I always like the Far Cry 3 one, or
Sure.
or 4. I think it's 3, where if you like just sit on the beach, eventually help will come, and you'll just be peace out of there.
4
Yeah,
has
they
a
did that
similar
again in
one.
4 or 5. 2 of the games in a row did the same bit.
Yeah, 4 does the
Okay.
same one where when you're hearing him the dude torture that one guy, you're supposed to have like an oh shit moment, but if you just stay there and wait like he asks you to, he'll give you what you want and you leave.
Right. Okay. Yes. Yeah. That's pretty funny for sure. I
Those
like
are
that.
good. I mean, Drakengard 3, the whole reason Nier exists is because of that like 4th ending that is like kind of a joke ending. So that's pretty incredible. They spun that out into a whole series that people
Absolutely.
remember, unlike Drakengard. So that's cool. Silent Hill 2 dog ending is best ending, but all of those endings are dark in their own separate ways. So I'm a big fan of Silent Hill 2's endings.
I like UFO ending from 3, but
That one's
I guess
good
that's
too.
not really dark per se.
Silent Hill has some good alternate endings. All right. Waste of Resources writes, if you were a playable character in Mario Kart Double Dash, what would your character exclusive item be? For example, Mario and Luigi get fireballs, Baby Mario and Baby Luigi get chain chomps, DK and Diddy throw giant frowny face banana peels that spawn 3 regular banana peels when hit, etc.
I throw a glitch, which just has a random effect. It either teleports you forward, backwards, or just freezes you in place.
Sure.
Okay. That's a good one. I'm trying. Maybe I throw like a dumbbell or a weight, and it just slows you down.
Okay. Yeah. Oh my god.
You can also do like good items, maybe something that you do to yourself. I don't know if that brings any
And
ideas
Starman,
forward.
like a Starman type effect.
Yeah. Or the mushroom,
Mm-hmm.
Anything, Paul?
Nope.
Okay.
Okay. VGC Kenny says, does being late to the party for certain games or whatever mean that your opinions on certain aspects of them are less valid? Like, I only got into Pokemon as a game like a decade ago, but Pokemon is on the cusp of 3 decades. So for people who were there since the beginning, I can understand some of the desire to shake things up, but the formula is not old enough for me to want anything too different yet. Obviously, I like the quality of life updates and give Game Freak more time, and maybe people as well, to do the work, but the game is still good to me. I don't think it needs a massive overhaul, but what do I know?
No, your opinions are never less valid on stuff that doesn't matter, like video games.
Yeah, I don't think you need to be there from the beginning to be able to like give feedback.
It definitely helps put in perspective things, though. So, like, if somebody was saying, like, I want, like, to know what Pokemon could do differently or what things they could do, I wouldn't ask you if you just got into it, like, this year, because why would I? I would ask somebody that, like, has been into it for the last 20 years and has seen every iteration on things that they could take again. So, like, in that case, but, like, who cares?
I think it would, similar to your thoughts of their opinion does matter. I think it would still be valid to ask them because it's just another perspective, and it's like a different perspective. Like they're going to bring their own experiences to it. So I think that I would still want to ask that, like like a range of people. Hey, what should we do different with Pokemon?
Hmm.
Because I do agree. Like, no, your opinion does matter. I do think if you're having like some kind of like debate or conversation about this, it's just like mentioning like, hey, I only have this experience is just like informative for the conversation, because then people are knowing, okay, they didn't go through the like the Game Boy era where everything was pixelated and looked bad and yada yada, and so just for like context sake. So yeah, no, definitely not. Your opinion is definitely valid for sure. A's Hero EX. You are transported back in time 5, 10, 20, or more years into the past. You may choose how much. Excuse me. Now, in the past, you are able to become a singer of a very popular song from that time. Which song will you choose to make you a music icon? You are able to remember the song entirely or bring a computer with all the details from the song. Bonus question: would you be a one-hit wonder or keep making popular songs from the future?
Do Darude Sandstorm, because I would like to live
Ah,
on as a meme, and I would like to not be held to some weird standard where I would just want to be a one-hit wonder. I wouldn't want to do that
one-hit
forever.
wonder?
I was
Okay.
gonna say like Journey, just for like a bunch of their songs.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you have a specific one in mind? Like,
My favorite one from them is Separate Ways, but I mean, like, Don't Stop Believing's a classic.
Of
Or Any
course,
Way
yeah.
You
yeah, I
Want
feel like
It.
if you're wanting to do multiple of their songs, start with like a big one and then go to the smaller ones. It would be my thought. They pointed this out in the Discord. This is basically the plot of Yesterday,
Yeah.
that like Beatles sci-fi movie. I really like that movie. I think that movie's a ton
Me
of
too.
fun.
It's very good.
Um, I have like no interest in becoming a music icon, so
My problem is
I
I
guess
don't want to pick somebody I like a lot, because if I took that and they don't exist now, like, I'm not gonna write a bunch of stuff that they wrote probably, so that stuff just doesn't exist anymore or something. I don't know. Just give me something big that is like a funny meme or whatever. It's like, oh hey, it's that do guy, and like that's enough for me. I'm good.
yeah, if I had to do this, I do like kind of the meme idea of like, I don't know, I'll just do All Star. I'll just be the All Star guy.
Sure. Rasterman writes, what is the maximum number of games you've beaten in a single year? You can adjust the definition of beaten case by case basis. In general, it encompasses reaching the end of a campaign / story mode with any ending.
I don't
Let's
have
see.
this number. John, you track this stuff, don't you?
Yeah, I do. That's why I'm looking. I track specifically what's beaten on stream, though.
Yeah. The
Okay.
maximum.
But that's probably close to like 80% of what you're doing, isn't it?
Nowadays, probably.
Yeah.
The year I beat the most games was 71,
Okay.
and that was 2018.
Oh, but
Or 20
you also do like a game clearing thing every year. So that's like a goal of yours every single year, isn't it?
I actually didn't do it last year. Straight up, I tracked
Oh,
anything I
okay.
beat, but there was no like real goal. It's just like, if we beat something.
Okay. Paul, do
Yeah,
you
so
actually
far this
track
year
this,
we've
or do you?
beaten 29 on
Oh,
stream.
hold on. I might have something. Let me take a look. I don't think I track when I finish them, though, is the problem. Oh, no, I definitely do.
I will say most of the games I talk about on the show, I finish probably like 90% of the games that I like play for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Just because like I'm at a point where it's just like if I'm gonna play a game, I have to kind of like actually be interested in it because I have so much to choose from. But I have no idea what the number is.
If you were to get, sorry, I'm vamping for time. If you were to guess,
Sure.
how much would you think?
I don't know. Let's see. 52 weeks in a year. I'll say I'll just go conservative. 30 maybe.
Okay.
It's probably higher than that because some games can be pretty short. But I have no idea.
Okay, so 2023. I have. Is this not?
What is this list you're looking at? Is it games you've
I
played
have
or games you've
47 for 2023.
that you completed
Yes.
or beat? Okay.
Yep.
All right. Is it my turn or John's turn?
It's my turn. Phantom A just writes in and says, "Ahoy, TDP crew! What kind of smell would TDP be if it were sold as a fragrance?"
Leather and
Oh
pineapple.
man. Okay, why did you know that so quickly?
Just the first thing that
What a
popped in my
mix.
head. I have no idea.
Okay, leather and pineapple. All right. And no rationale? Does nothing relates to anything?
Nope. What does a
Okay.
genie smell like?
I don't know, like a vape.
Dust.
Yeah,
Dust and
oil,
vape.
like a shitty oil lamp or something. A vape?
Like a, yeah, I think it's like a blueberry muffin
Yeah, like a
scented
blueberry
vape.
vape. That's probably true.
Dust doesn't even really so just like old, just like an old
Musty.
attic.
Musty.
Yeah, musty. Just okay.
That tracks.
I don't know. Vanilla, like we're all white. That's all
Yep.
I got.
True.
I mean,
Vanilla is
can we
my
pick, like, our
favorite flavor
favorite
of ice
scent?
cream, so like I'm okay with that.
It is the finest of the flavors.
I heard that in a song once.
But that was a long time ago.
And you wrote it. You went back in time and you wrote it.
Yeah.
that's exactly what I went back and wrote.
I'll write 1 week by the Bare Naked Ladies. Very specific answer.
All right, last question. Hebrew Lantern, have you ever played a game that you should have enjoyed, but for some reason you didn't like it? Vice versa, is there a game that you should have hated that you loved?
Ah, damn it. What was that game I played somewhat recently where everyone was like, this is up your alley? And I was like, nah, I don't like it. The hell was that?
I don't know, Baldur's Gate, Elden Ring.
Nah. Baldur's Gate I can recognize as a good game, but yeah, I just bounced off of it.
Sure.
I guess
There's
by that
honestly
logic, sure.
There's nothing about Baldur's Gate that made me think John would have enjoyed it, to be honest with you. But, like,
Okay.
I don't know.
In the chat, someone says Kirby Forgotten World. Is that your answer, John? Does that
Oh,
work for you?
yeah, Kirby's Forgotten Land. Yeah. And, I wasn't a big fan of that one.
I know there's for sure there's an answer for the first one. I don't know if there's one for the second one that I should have hated that I would have loved, because I'm trying to think which games I hate. I mean, hate's kind of a strong word, but games I'm not really into are going to be like sports games,
Right.
and I don't really I can't think of like a sports game that I was like, "Yep, this is it. I love it."
Right.
Yeah, nothing's coming to mind for me. What about you, Paul?
I mean, I should have definitely liked Atomic Heart more than I did for what that was on paper, but there's something about it
Okay.
that just rubbed me the wrong way.
Was it the horny vending machine?
No, that's like the only thing that rubbed me the good right way.
Okay. Okay. Please say less.
Please. Yeah, the hate that you love is really difficult, because if I don't like something, I'm not going to play it long enough usually to get to a point where I even start enjoying it, I would think.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing that comes to mind for me is I didn't like Mass Effect 1, but I bought and played Mass Effect 2, and thank God it clicked very well for me. So maybe that's a good answer. Gears happened. Same thing with the Gears of War games with 1 and 2.
Uh-huh.
I can't think of anything recent though.
Yeah, I guess for sequels, that would be a good answer. Oh, I actually have the answer. A game I should have enjoyed by every metric is Symphony of the Night, but I can't stand that game.
Oh, that's a bummer. I guess by that same logic, I have an answer for a game that I should have hated but loved. Lethal Company. Because I hated Phasmagoria or Phasmophobia. I hated that game. So everyone was like, you're going to bounce off Lethal. And no, I liked it.
Sure.
Paul, does this work for you? Payday 3?
Dude, I was so sad the other day. I read a news article where it's like, Payday 3 giant update. It adds, I can't even remember what it is, matchmaking? And I'm like, what are we doing?
I think it was Quick Play because you tweeted about
You're
this.
right, it was Quick Play. That's what it was.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Oh, that was brutal. That actually depressed me. It's like, that was like my favorite game for the longest time, Payday 2. How could they do this?
All right. That's it for questions this week. Thanks everyone who wrote in. If you want to write in for next week, it's topdownperspective@gmail.com, at TDP Podcast on Twitter, the Discord channel, and John's P.O. Box. What's your game of the week?
Oh.
Helldivers 2.
Nice. Super R-Type. I played that.
Wow.
Okay.
I was playing that last night, and that game is fucking great. So
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
And for the last time, it is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth for me.
oh yeah, I played a bit of that too. I stick by what I said.
Thanks everyone who listened. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.